Hi, my name is Quick Pentium, and I'm going to be going through this whole edit that I made here. So this is practically a breakdown of everything that I've put together to achieve this image right here, this look right here. So the model who posed for me is called Portia. Shout out to her. She did very well. She's actually not a professional model, but she did her best to do a good job. So this is the layers that I have here, and I'm going to go through all these layers, what each one does. This first layer is just the logo. You can see it right there, it goes just right off. This one here I used to sharpen the image. So when I take off the sharpness, you just look closely and carefully, you see that it becomes a bit softer, but with it it's much more sharper. So the next layer is the HDRI layer. So with this layer, what I use this layer for is to actually add details in certain places. Like if you look in these shadow areas where the tire is, around these areas, I use this layer to add some more details in this part of the image. So when I take it off, you see I have the shadows here. These shadows that I'm talking about, I brought up the shadows a bit so that it's not so solid and pitch black. So when I you see it lightens the shadows a bit. So that's what the layer does. And then with this layer right here is mostly, it's also a grain layer that I use to add details to the dress. So you can see with this layer, when I turn it on and off, it adds details to the dress in the back. And how I achieve this is by going to filter. I went to camera raw, and then I cranked up the clarity. So when I crank up the clarity, it's bring much more details within places where the folds are and all that. And I went to OK, and then I created a layer mask, and then I painted it in places that I wanted it to be in. So you can see that when I turn the layer mask off, it's all over the place, but when the layer mask is on, it's just in the dresses and in the back. So it brings more details and prominence to the back in the dresses. So the next layer is a gradient map, which I use to add some more colors to the image as a whole. So when I take it on, you see that there is a lot more color to it. And then, so let me show you this gradient. This is the gradient I created. You can see it right here. So I wanted the lighter areas to have this kind of yellowish things on it, and then the darker areas to have this kind of reddish kind of thing. So you can see in the dark areas I have this reddish kind of look. So that's the grade I went with. So when I take off this detail layer and I take off this gradient layer, the next layer is the sky layer. So right here, the sky wasn't that blue, I just painted it in. So you can see here that it was just gray. When I was shooting, it was just flat because there's harmattan in this area and the whole place is very pale and the sky doesn't look as bright and blue as it's supposed to be. So I had to cheat it in. So you can see it's very blue now, and this is how I achieved that. I just colorize it and then tweak the hue parameters right here. So when I take that off, the next layer is the sand. So the sand wasn't that red, so what I did was to add some more color to it, and I did that by increasing the hue and saturations and then pushing the hue towards the red. So when I come to the curves adjustment, this one I used to lift up the whole thing a bit. So you can see that when you go here, this image stands out because the background has been brought down. So I just painted it in with the layer mask. So you can see that everything is toned down, but then when I put the mask in, I let it affect only the surroundings, not the figure itself, so that it gives the figure some more prominence. So the next layer is the exposure layer. It's also giving the background, is toning down the background and giving the image prominence. So you can see that the background was bright as the image, but I had to tone it down a bit so that the image could stand out and could be better. And the way I got this was to crop the image out. So I have a layer down here which is mask. So anytime I need to sample it, I hold control and then I click on it, and then it gives me that mask for the image. So let me select it now. So that's how come I singled out the image and made the dark background much darker. So you can see it's very light now. And so this color balance, I used it to add a couple of a little bit of yellow to the highlight, and then some reds into the dark areas too. So you can see there's much more yellow. No yellow in this image, is much reddish, the image, the skin tone, but I introduced a bit of yellow and some light greens into the image here. So when you go for the next image right here, is also a texture that I've been adding onto this image. It's actually a green texture. So when I zoom in, so you can see it better when I zoom in. When I zoom in and you look at the skin, you can see that I added some texture right here. This is the first texture and this is the second one. So it's also named green, and this one is done by the I did this by going to filter, I went to camera raw, then FX, and I added green from here. So you tweak the green according to the amount you want, and then the size. When you put the size up too big and then you put the amount too big, it becomes disgusting and it's not natural for an image. So you just have to tweak it such that it looks real, and the roughness, when it goes up too much, it becomes a bit disturbing. So these were quite the values I was using then. Yeah. So that's what I did, and then I achieved this particular look right here. So the green is off, so you can see that without the green it looks much more smoother, and you don't have that feel of texture on the skin anymore. And then this right here is a visual aid which I'll turn off that I used, and here is the dodge and bend layer, a little bit of dodge and bend, so you can see that it gives it a little bit of prominence. I didn't do it too much because this is not a kind of image that will be focused on dodge and bend so much on this. But if it was mostly a portrait, I would be going hard a bit on the dodge and bend. But this is very light, and when you come here, this is the skin color. I added some color to the skin, and the skin was looking a bit yellowish, so I added some color to it to look more brownish, and that's how it happened. So I used a solid color right here. So you go to effects, go to solid color, then now you can change the color into the kinds of color that you want the skin to have, the tone that you are going for. And then you have another one here too. So this one controls the shadows and this one controls the midtones, and this one is at color and this one is at multiply, so that it affects the dark areas, and this one affects the light areas. So now when you look at this, you have magic eyes. So look at the eyes carefully, you can see the brightness goes down a bit, it comes out some more. So this magic eye is a layer that I created with the Retouch Academy right here. So when you look at this part of it, it creates a magic eye, it creates a smile, anti-peak, glowing skin. You can use it to create your frequency separations and all that. So that's what I use to create these layers right here, which is the frequency separation, that you have the magic eyes and all that. So this magic eyes controls the eyes, this one controls the skin. So this is the frequency separation I did on the skin. I didn't go too hard on it as I'm supposed to, because it's a full image and it's not a portrait. So if it's a portrait, you have to concentrate much more on the skin, and then how to remove the blemishes, and then also how to colorize the skin so that it looks proper. So this is going to help you. This doesn't do the whole work for you, it just gives you the base to do the work. So when you can create an 8-bit or a 16-bit color frequency separation right here for you. So when I take this off and on, you can see what happens here. So when you go for the next one, this is the max that I created. So you wouldn't really see unless I turn everything off. So this is the max I created with the so that I can use it for the other stuff that I needed only the model in. So this is the max I created. I missed a couple of spots, but that doesn't really matter. It's just in the dress, so I could just fix it in the max anytime. So when I take my brush here and then paint in here with 100% opacity, I just fixed this thing right here. So if we look, so now if you go into the full image now and I put everything right back on, so this is how I did it. This image right here, I used the filter and then camera raw, and then I just adjusted the primary blue, and then I pushed the hues a bit to the right side, and then when you push this here, it changes the skin color a bit. So you just have to push this to the side a bit and then bring the saturation down in the red a bit so that you can have your skin looking right again. So if you look at this image, it's different from this image. The image was looking, the dress was looking pinkish, not bluish. Like it's blue, it has blue net, but it's not really blue as I wanted. So I just wanted to have that cinematic look, so I changed it into this. Then now we have our frequency separation, our magic eyes came in, and then our skin color, our dodge and bend, and then the first green, second one, and then our color balance came in. Exposure, remember the exposure was to tone the background down, then the exposure brought the background down, and then the curves also brought the background down some more. It gives it a little bit of vignette. Then the sand colorized it a bit, then the sky came in blue. Then now I put a gradient map on it again to give it some more color. Then I came in with the bag and then the dress, putting some details in there. And I came with the shadows, lifted it a bit. I came with the ADR to lift the shadows some more so that you could see more of the shadows. I think I should even tone this ADR down a bit because the background is much darker. Yeah, I think I like this. And then I sharpened it up a bit again. So the sharpness, I brought it up around within the image. So I think I could turn it down to a bit, and then now my logo. So this is the final image that I have right here. And Retouch Academy is a very cool tool to use to edit your images. It's not about it gives you a head start. There are a couple of them out there. There is this one tool called Magic Retouch Pro, so you can use it for retouching digital makeup, skin looks, post-processing effects, and then a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so you can also download actions that you can use to create your frequency separations and all that to help you edit faster. It doesn't actually do the whole job for you. It helps you edit faster than you're supposed to spend some time creating this low layer and this high layer where one controls the details and the other controls the skin color. If in a click it does that for you, you can spend much more time removing the blemishes and then also fixing the color in the skin and in the image. So thank you, and if you like this tutorial and breakdown, just subscribe. If you didn't understand anything and you want me to further elaborate on it, you can just put it in the comments below. Thank you.